In this vid, I'm going to be taking a look at a Gothitelle deck by TheAnimeFan608. His Gothitelle deck is a little different than the standard, so throughout the video I've made a few suggestions on how to make it more like a standard list, but at the same time I feel like this also makes it more of a consistent list. Gothitelle decks are really big right now because if you can get a Gothitelle up by turn 2, your opponent's going to have a very hard time struggling under the trainer lock. So let's take a closer look at his list. There's currently no starter in this deck, so I would add in a single Cleffa. I would increase the line of Gothitelle to a 4-2-4. This ensures that you're going to be able to get one out as fast as possible because you really want that trainer lock up by turn 2. The Reuniclus is going to allow you to move your damage around to keep your Gothitelle alive. Running a 3-2-2 is a pretty good way to ensure that you're going to get one up, even with Yanmega sniping your Solosis. If you're having problems getting up a Reuniclus, you can always add in one more Solosis, but the 3-2-2 line should work. I like to have one Reshiram and one Zekrom as my dragons to take care of the big damage. However, 2 Zekrom is not a bad idea. The reason why I like to suggest one of each is just to give you one more option as far as type matching, depending on what kind of deck you're playing against. I would definitely drop the 3 Mime Jr. because without Slowking, you're really not going to be able to use your Lost World. And more babies just increase the chance of you getting donked early game. The Darkrai Cresselia Legend is not a bad idea, especially if you're facing another Gothitelle deck. So for now, I think it's safe to keep. However, if you're finding that you need more room in the deck for other cards, it's one I think that can be easily dropped. The 1-1 line of Blissey I'm a little unsure of. Personally, I like Max Potion better, but if you're finding that you have a lot of trainer lock in your area, you may not be able to use your Max Potion. But with Blissey Prime, you do have to run Super Scoop Up or Seeker to be able to keep on utilizing it, which is why I prefer to use the Max Potion instead. So for now, I'm going to go with the more consistent suggestion, which is dropping the Blissey Prime and just adding in Max Potion later on. Right now, your energy is a little bit spread out. You're running 4 Special Dark, 4 Psychic, 3 Double Colorless, and 1 Basic Dark. However, I think the only attack that you should be using on Darkrai Cresselia Legend is Moon Invite, which only requires 1 Psychic Energy. And the only reason you need to be using that attack anyways is if you're playing against another deck that moves around damage. Since Moon Invite only requires 1 Psychic Energy, I think you can drop all of the Dark Energy from the deck, both Basic and Special, and just replace them with Psychic Energy instead. The Double Colorless Energy and Psychic Energy is just going to make this deck a lot more consistent. The Trainer and Supporter line is what I have the most suggestions for. You definitely need 4 Collector to search out basics early on. I would run 4 Rare Candy instead of 3 just to ensure that you get that Gothitelle up turn 2. Since Gothitelle says that only your opponent can't use trainers, you can add in as many trainers as you like. So I'd add in 3 Pokemon Communication, that will ensure that you can get out that Gothitelle really fast, 2 to 3 Pokemon Catcher, 4 Junk Arm, and 2 or 3 Max Potion. Since I'm recommending Max Potion over the Blissey Prime line, you can drop the Seeker. Since I recommended that you drop the Mime Jr., you can drop the Lost World as well. I don't really care for Legend Box, especially in a deck that only runs 1 Legend, so I would recommend dropping those as well. Instead of running 3 Copycat, I would take them out and run 4 Professor Oak's New Theory, just to ensure that you get a solid 6-card hand every time. With Copycats, there's a chance that you can copy your opponent for a very low hand size, which wouldn't work out well for you at all. I'd like to see a little recovery in this deck, like the addition of 1 Flower Shop Girl, or possibly 1 Energy Retrieval, since Gothitelle really relies on a lot of Psychic Energy to be able to knock out Pokemon. If you still need more room in the deck for some of the suggestions that I made, I'd recommend taking out some of the Sage's training. You don't want to be discarding too many cards from your deck, otherwise you're going to risk decking yourself out. These are all of the suggestions I have, so if anyone else would like their deck reviewed, just PM me the list and let me know whether you'd like to be considered for a video review, which can take several weeks up to several months, or if you'd like immediate feedback via a blog review, which I can typically do in less than a week. Thanks for watching!